Hey guys, it's Dom and welcome back to another Gonk Gang video, and today I've got something different. Everyone's been doing gameplay, I'm just going to do something different. So today I've got the top 5 decks that I've played this set and you need to try, and at the very end I've got a deck that will hopefully help you win PQs and meta. You've probably seen it on the channel before, but I think it's the most fun to play if I'm going to a tournament. So let's get straight into it. As you can see, the first deck we've got is Jabba the Hutt. In the second set, this leader wasn't really played that much, and he didn't continue to see play whatsoever. But with the new set, we got Jabba's Rancor Keeper, which for each creature you play, the first creature you play each phase, sorry, gets it costs one less. So automatically, all the creatures that we got this set. So we got the Purgle King, we got the Sandtrooper Cavalry counts as a creature, Gundark, Tarentak, uh, Curious Flock, Minarch, Hyperspace Wayfarer, Charging Thylac. I nearly said that wrong. Dregnia Spawn. Like, all these things are good. Another card that we got this set that would also help this is Pounce. Again, in yellow. Not the greatest in yellow by itself, because the only creature we got was the Charging Thylac this set in yellow. The rest of the creatures are predominantly in green. But my whole plan basically was to play Jabba's Rancor. The combo was already to play Jabba's Rancor in Jabba if you have to play it because it gets the discount. But now with the Rancor Keeper, it's also one less. So it's a fun way to drop a Rancor on 6. Potentially doing some, now there are two of them, shenanigans with it too. But starting from the top of the list going down, we've got Curious Flock, Salacious Crumb as your one drops. Curious Flock is a great card. If late game, especially if you drop it and make it a 5/5, a 6/6, it's just a really good card. Salacious Crumb again, working with Jabba, getting heal, getting a damage, count as a creature to start the now. There are two of them. Tiny Intervention. This was mainly in for Gundark and the Dragneer Spawn, because Dragneer Spawn needs an ambush. If you play the card by itself, it most likely gets killed by something before you actually play the card. Sorry, get to use the card in play. So tiny intervention it into something small to give it the XP to then make it bigger to then force your opponent to do something. Um, then tiny intervention was also for stuff like Minarch, potentially to kill a space unit, because Vader yellow was a thing, and I was thinking maybe we can do something. Peggle King again just to get restore 4. So there's a few reasons why Timely's there. Maybe not a 3 of now. I'll probably change it to a 2 of. Bib Fortuna shielded, great. Makes me events cost less. Makes your pounds cheaper. Makes your rampage cheaper, etc. The highlight card of the deck, Jabba's Rancor Keeper. It's just the reason this deck works. Makes all your creatures cheaper. Uh, you know, if a creature would be dealt damage to a friendly unit, prevent the damage. It's just good. This guy's great. Makes the whole deck function. Minarch, great in space. The fact that it's only a creature means that if I were to put upgrades in this, you can just put the upgrades on Minarch in space and it won't get any downsides to it. Pounce, given a creature +4, I think is insane for 2. It's surprise strike but creatures. If you slap this on Gundark, for example, you're swinging in for 9. Yeah, I don't know. That's game ending right there. I think there's a lot of, especially again, even something simple as Curious Flock. If you drop it, make it a 6/6, swing in for 10 with Pounce. It's great. The next card, now there are two of them. I think this is a funny card. I think dropping Gundark or Jabba's Rancor early, by now there are two of them with the cheaper creatures is amazing. Then you've got Rampage, give all your creatures +2/+2 for this phase. If you spam out, that's awesome. Waylay was just to stop Saboteurs. I do Saboteurs to stop Sentinels because you don't have that many Saboteurs. You have stuff like Trentech to ambush, well as Force, but unless it's Chirrut, you're not doing much. The rest of them, again, Charge and Fire, like again, the only ambush. There's a lot of ambush, but not to really go under the Sentinels, so Waylay was my only answer. And then the end of the list is pretty self-explanatory, to be honest. Thylax, a creature, 3/4 ambush hidden. Dragneer Spawn to build itself up big. Jabba was in this solely to trigger the Rancor Keeper because my initial choice was potentially not to play Jabba. It was maybe to play Snoke or something because the leader ability really never goes off. The capture side does because you can capture something under like the Purgle King or Wayfarer or something, but the actual -1 Castle doesn't really go off, so that's why Jabba was in the list. He also searches for Pounce, and now there are two of them, and Waylay, so it's not awful. Sandtrooper Cavalry, again, great unit. You can start just killing small stuff, build it up big. Gundark and Terentech are self-explanatory, big drops on 5. Overwhelm Barrage, stick it on anything, you just wipe the board. Hyperspace Wayfarer, Jabba's Rancor, Purgle King, all late game drops. Wayfarer and Purgle King maybe don't look the greatest at like 410, 412 stat lines. King is good uh, because of the restore. I think I wouldn't really change it for anything. I think it's great with the restore and also the when played. Wayfarer is great, I think. Again, a 410 start trade and stuff, and obviously Jabba's Rancor. The reason why I also think that the Pelican King and Wayfarer are good is because I run Protective Pod. So a friendly non-vehicle unit deals damage equal to its remaining HP to an enemy. So normally I'd sideboard this in for something that I would not be using, probably the Sandtrooper Cavalry if I am. And then what that means is all the all the things like Jabba's Rancor, Purgle King, Wayfarer, Terentech, Gundark, Jabba unit. Oh no, Jabba unit doesn't count, sorry. Yes, it does. Jabba unit, you basically just do their health in damage to a singular unit. So if someone flips some big unit, you just go, okay, cool. I'll protect the pod, kill it, and yeah. Overall, I think this deck is funny. I think it's funny and it also wins games, and it can win games. I think you can also change this however you want, but I honestly think the Jabba creature deck is one of the more fun decks that you can play this set. So hopefully we get more creatures, and I'll make this list more and more evolved over time. Moving on though, we have the Snoke Trooper spam. So this list was, I think, shown off on Veilshot's YouTube channel, and I don't really remember changing it too much. The only thing I do remember changing was maybe the Hoth Lieutenant for something else. But the list is pretty self-explanatory. So we had Tarkin Trooper in set 1, which for anyone that doesn't know, Tarkin Leader gave experience to Imperials. So in set 1, people made a Trooper slash Imperial spam list where you had like General Fears, Stormtroopers, anything with an Imperial tag. And Tarkin would just spam XP to it, and you would make them big and hit base. That evolved then into Tarkin Space, which was Tarkin Yellow, same thing, play Imperial ships, give them loads of XP, hit base. So, in this set, obviously people came up with and brought up the deck, is you can do that with Supreme Leader Snoke. Because the only thing Supreme Leader Snoke cares about is having a villainy aspect. So, the best thing to do is just spam troops. So, as you can see, we have all one drops at the beginning. So we've got Death Star Stormtrooper, First Order Stormtrooper, Guardian Antagonizer, and the new Snowtrooper from the Hoth set. Again, if you don't have the Hoth set, you can switch this out for something else. These are great. Your turn 1 will always or should always be 2 1-drops. Because next turn, you can then, for example, give one of them an XP with Snoke, and then drop 2 more 1-drops. Or if you really wanted to, you could drop Tag, give your 2 units XP and then give another XP to it with Snoke, which happened quite a lot of the time when I played this deck at locals and stuff. My turn 1 would be like 2 Death Star Stormtroopers or 2 Antagonizers, and then I would play Tag and then give Snoke, make Snoke give an XP, and then what that would mean is I would automatically just be hitting for like 10 damage in one turn potentially, or maybe more. But the rest of the list, again, is stuff that will just help them. So Daring Raid, doing 2 damage to something. The main problem, again, with these types of decks is Sentinels, the same as the creature one. Sentinels are always a nightmare. With these, if you're spamming 1-drops and they just go, oh, I'll drop a Sentinel 9 times out of 10, or your 1-drops have to ram themselves into the Sentinel. So daring raid's a great way to do some damage or finish off a sentinel for your one drops and two drops and stuff to get through. Precision fire, again, like I mentioned, sentinel's big problem. So strap this on Saboteur, and if it's a trooper, you get +2. So again, if you've buffed stuff with tag, going into the fourth resource turn, you can attack with this. Tag's given experience, say to a Death Star Stormtrooper. Snoke's given it, so he's a 5. And then precision fire for 7 to base. Saboteur can't be stopped, which then forces your opponent to answer that one cost Death Star Stormtrooper. Bo-Katan, staple in a trooper deck just because of how she works. While you control another Mandalorian unit, this unit gains overwhelm and Saboteur. That never goes off. But the reason you play her is while you control another trooper unit, this unit gets +1. So it's your 2 cost 3/3. Uh, yeah, staple in trooper decks. I don't think she's ever been taken out of trooper decks, and I think she'll be a staple in trooper decks until something else takes a 2-drop. But that's not really gonna happen, I don't think. General tag, key of the deck, give experience unit token to 3 trooper units. This guy is the one reason why the deck works. It's the one reason why your 2/1 drops will most likely survive, especially if you manage to get the initiative back. Or if the way the initiative goes, you get an initiative on resource 3, so you can spam him out. He's the great card in this deck, great card for trooper decks. And by the looks of what we're seeing in the new set, hopefully there's going to be more troopers. So again, this deck might change more, and tag's still going to be in it. The next unit, HK. HK's in this deck because of the stat line for a 2 cost. Because again, you can strap Battle Fury to him, or you can Precision Fire him, but not with the Trooper, just to Saboteur with him. But he's mainly there because, like I said, if the Sentinels are big units and you're ramming all your small ones in, eventually when you kill a unit, you get to do that one to base, which for Trooper decks could be a make or break. Sith Legionnaire, one of the highlights of the new set. If you control another villain unit, this unit gets +2, so he's technically always going to be a 4/2 because you've always got a villain unit out, hopefully. Again, Trooper, Snoke works with him, Tag works with him, everything's great. Force Choke to get rid of Sentinels, get rid of anything with big stat lines that you can't deal with your small troopers. Battle Fury, I think Battle Fury is a great card for a 2 cost 3/3. On attack, discard a card from your hand. That's really fine, especially late game when if you are just getting 1-drops or your low cost units that you don't really want, you can just go, all right, I'm going to put this on something, swing, discard something, or because you're also a trooper deck, you predominantly never have cards in your hand anyway, because your whole idea is just to spam every card in your hand onto the board. So Battle Fury trigger never really bothers you sometimes, because you go on attack discard the card, but you don't actually have anything in hand. So Battle Fury is great in this deck. Captain Enoch, another one from this set that's a highlight. This unit gets +1 for each trooper unit in your discard pile. Most of the deck is troopers, if not all. So if you play this guy late game, he's gonna have some beefy stats. So the reason why this deck again is fun is because people think, okay, we killed all the 1-drops, nothing can happen. You play Enoch, and if all your 1-drops are in the graveyard, there's potentially 9, 11 attack on an Enoch, which is insane. So Captain Enoch, great. Grand Inquisitor, he was in here because of the Hidden and Raid 1. There wasn't really another 3-drop I could think to put in. People were saying potentially try Cell Block Guard and stuff, but I think Grand Inquisitor's fine. Being hidden, Raid 1, it's just there to basically be annoying. In most games that I played, you probably would never see me play Grand Inquisitor. I think there'd be other stuff that would be played over him, but you never know, that might change in the future. Phase 3 Dark Trooper, essential, great, especially if people that like their 1-drops and stuff, if they're playing some sort of spam deck like Cad Bane is now. Phase, Phase 3 Dark Trooper might survive, gain an XP, make it harder for them. Another card from the new Hoth starter set. The Hoth Lieutenant, when played, if you attack with another unit, it gets +2 for this attack. Again, if you don't have this card, you can play something else. This is great because it's another trooper. It's also beefing itself up with something else attacking. So again, just big beefy stat lines for trooper deck. And obviously finally Overwhelming Barrage, the key to most decks that spam. If you get a big unit and you manage to get Overwhelming Barrage off, you're pretty much fine. The base is Tarkin Town. Reason being for that is, again, trying to kill a sentinel or a big unit, you can ram something in with XP on and then just finish it off with Tarkin Town to stop it. I have tried it with 30 base. It doesn't really work because you kind of need the damage off Tarkin Town. All in all, though, I do like this deck. I think this is one of the more fun ones that you can play as well. I think going through this video, you will see almost like a curve of more fun to more serious. Jabba was great. I think Snoke's great. I do think Snoke could even be a viable deck for a tournament potentially if you've tinkered it a bit more and actually added sideboard. I haven't added the sideboard here, but if you add one, it could potentially be really good. I know at locals I came second due to people just not expecting the amount of XP spam that you can put out, and especially things buffing each other. So, for example, like Sith Legionnaire buffing something, Tag's buffing something, Bo-Katan's buffing herself, and then Snoke's also giving XP out, and then Snoke not really dying because he can just be a 4/7 big unit on the board and no one really gets rid of him. And like I said, Battle Fury then also being stacked on something and not really having the downside of the on attack because you never have cards in hand. Overall, I think Snow Trooper's really fun. We have seen some Troopers next set, and I will be making another Trooper list. And yeah, I still play this deck. I think Snow Trooper, if there's any deck on this list, I think Snow Trooper is my favorite, and I probably will keep playing it. The Jabba list again could have been Jabba, could have been Snoke creatures because Snoke could give the creatures, but not all of them are villainy. So yeah, I ended up with Jabba. But all in all, Snow Trooper really fun. Let's get on to the next one. So the next deck, it is Gar Saxon Yellow. As you can see, congrats, you made enough crappy decks, you found a boring random deck name. This is what happens when I just keep making decks and they never go to plan. So, Gar Saxon Yellow, normally see it in the Bat Village or 30 base and you play it that way. However, I came across a couple lists that were playing Holy City. So I decided to have a look at them two lists, or three lists I think it was, and a normal Gar Saxon Yellow list, and try and mash them all together and make a version between them. So, for anyone who doesn't know what Holy City does, when a friendly force unit attacks, the force is with you. Pretty self-explanatory. However, if you look at the deck list, there's some random things in there. You've got Droid Cohort, you've got On Top of Things, you've got the Will of the Force, Corrupted Saber, things that you don't predominantly see in Gar Saxon. So, let's get into the list. So, starting off, you've got Greedo as your one drop, which again always partners nicely with Director Krennic. You can see further down the line. So you normally go Krennic into a free Greedo. That's fantastic. Second after Greedo, you got Droid Cohort. Why am I playing Droid Cohort? That's a great question. So Droid Cohort is going to be an upgrade. So no matter what I put it on, it's going to be a 2/1 upgrade because of Gar's ability. And I get to make a Battle Droid token. So you will not understand how many times I've hotshot blasted a battle droid token, or I've surprise striked a battle droid token to win a game, or even snapshot reflexed a battle droid token. Because on the token, if you snapshot it or hotshot it, it's also getting the +1 for being an upgrade. So when people underestimate a droid cohort, I think it's fantastic in God Yellow. I think you can strap an upgrade on the droid token when you've got it, and it's great. Droid cohort, I might even put to a 3 of, but there's a reason it's there. It's because it creates a droid token, which is another unit, which 9 times out of 10 people won't deal with. You strap an upgrade to it, end the game, done. Next, Hotshot Blast standard, Snapshot Reflex standard, Director Krennic standard, Guardian of the Wills. The first upgrade you play each round cost 1 less. So realistically, you can play Snapshot for free, you can play Droid Cohort for free, Jetpack for 1, On Top of Things for 1, Corrupted Saber for 1. Why people weren't playing this list before, I don't know. Well, Guardian the Wills is great. Karis is in there for the Force. You may use the Force if you do give a unit -2/-2 for this phase when defeated. It's just nice for dealing with Secretive Sages or other units that, have like a 2/2 stat line. You will see a lot of Dex run Krennic too, so giving a -2/-2 when she dies. It's great. Secretive Sage is there to turn your Force on. Sorry, Karis is also there to turn your Force on. Guardian the Wills is also there to turn your Force on. Surprise Strike standard, Corrupted Saber, great upgrade, 2 cost 2/1 on attack. If the attached unit is a force unit, it gains on attack to defend. They get -2 for this attack. Most of the things in the deck will be force based, so the on attack should happen. If it doesn't, you're playing the deck wrong. I don't know. Jetpack was played. I played Jetpack in the Liverpool sectors in my Gar Yellow. So yeah, it's back. Just great. Two costs, two two attack, two attack upgrade with a shield. Potentially, well, it will be three attack because of the upgrade. So it's a three attack shielded unit now, basically strapped with anything. On top of things, the attached unit can't be attacked for this phase. This again came in really handy because if you have, for example, let's just say axe woes, and he's sitting on the boards of experience, and you want him to survive, you put on top of things down, and all of a sudden he can't be attacked this phase. And if they don't have an event to answer it, he's just going to swing in for game potentially. So like Droid Cohort and on top of things were two really cheeky cards in this deck that I think people weren't expecting when I played it, and yeah, it was just really good and really fun to play, to be honest. Axwos is pretty standard in Gar Saxon decks now, same with Lurk and Tai. Shin Hatties in yellow, Power of the Dark Side's always there. Darth Tyrannus, shielded in ambush if you have the Force. I think this is great because the shield makes him a 5-3 with ambush. You basically smash through most things. If you need to kill something, Darth Tyrannus is just going to smash through it. So, great card in this deck again, Force unit to turn your base on. Talzin's Assassin on 4. When played, use the Force -3/-3. Again, another great deck. Another great card in the deck. -3/-3 something's amazing. Another forecast, the Will of the Force. Returning on unit leader to its owner's hand. You may use the Force. If you do that, play discard a card at random. This was a weird one when I seen it in people's decks, but I wanted to try it because, for example, a lot of people were playing Chirrut locally, so you would get rid of the Chirrut into their hand and then use the Force, make it discard random, and depending on what turn it was, they might not have too many cards, so you might get the Chirrut out of the hand if that makes sense. But this also works for other cards, not just Sentinels. So you can bounce big cards like Luke or big cards like Home One, say, or something, and then make them discard cards, make them discard a card random from their hand, and you could potentially get that big card. So this was an interesting card to experiment with. Looking back at it, I probably wouldn't run it. I'd probably just go more aggressive with some sort of other event. But yeah, Will of the Force is interesting to try. It's okay, not the greatest, I don't think. Next, Darth Vader again, pretty good in Gar Saxon, only running one of, and then the Sun again. Well, you have the Force. Each friendly unit gets +2. It's kind of just a game ender if you've again dragged the game out that long. But yeah, all in all, I think this deck is super super fun. I think playing, like I said, the Joy Cohort on top of things and like Guardian of the Wills and stuff. There's so many small combos between this deck that it just caught people off guard because they weren't expecting it. I remember playing Joy Cohort and people were like, "Why are you doing that?" And then a Joy token next turn with Hot Shot blasted them, and they're like, "Oh, okay, I just took 4 damage off a Battle Joy token." So yeah, this deck you need to try. I know there's other versions of Gar Yellow out there, but if you're looking for a Gar Yellow version and want to have a bit of fun, try the Force version, try this version, try Joy Cohort, try on top of things, try this deck. It is one of the more fun ones. Moving it to the next one, we're still sticking with Force, but this time we're playing Talzin Yellow. So, I know Rich, Rich from Gonk Gang, he's made a Talzin Yellow list, and I was wondering about it. And I messaged him and was like, yo, what's your Talzin list look like? So we kind of put our two Talzin lists together, but it just wasn't really fitting what we wanted for. We wanted a competitive version of Talzin Yellow instead of a more fun one, which both of us really had. So we kind of mixed them together and came up with this. Um, I think this deck is fun. Kind of plays similar to Gar. Like you will see a lot of Gar yellow cards here. You'll see the Shade, see Kara, see Krennic, see Greedo, Tyrannus, Sage, Assassin. A lot of this deck obviously is pretty similar. Um, but if you look at the list when we get into it, we have Greedo again, partners well with Krennic. Owen Laws again. This goes with your base, which is Crystal Caves. So when a force unit attacks, you gain the force. Owen Laws lets you set your top 5 cards for a force card and reveal it. So this is good because a lot of this deck will be force. Everything apart from Greedo, Krennic, Laws is pretty much force, and the P38, I guess. But the whole point of Laws is to find your other units later on. Hot Shot Blaster, again, standing in yellow. Think you kind of just have to play it. It will win you the games most of the time if you need it. Krennic is here to get most of your sisters out. Because there's one less, Karis is out on one, Night Sister Warrior is out on one. Assassin, no, not Assassin. There was another one. Okay, no, there isn't. I'm just making it up. P38, that was another one that you can get out on too. So there is a few reasons why Krennic triggers, and he is great and will always be a staple of these decks. Again, Karis, Night Sister Warrior, we're going with the Night Sister theme, but they also do well. The -2/-2 when defeated with the Force, and then Night Sister Warrior draw a card when defeated. Again, great. Sages there is your turn 1 to get you the Force. Bamboozle. You run Bamboozle because you can discard most of the yellow cards in this deck, and it probably won't affect you. And it's just a staple deck of yellow decks now because of the exhaust and return an upgrade to hand. It's always key, basically. Surprise Strike, great. Yellow decks. P38, this was a weird one. We couldn't figure out a space unit really to stick in. I was considering Black Sun, Starfighter, I was considering something else, but P38 was the one I settled with in the end. I still don't think it's the greatest card. I don't think doing 2 damage from the when played when defeated is amazing, especially since there's no way to really ambush it in yellow because I'm not running sneak attack. So it is one of them where like you play it out, trade or something, do the when play it, do the when played, trade or something, do the when defeated to make it valuable. But yeah, I'll be interested to know if there's anything that you would replace the P38 with. Please let me know in the comments and I'll try it. But yeah, P38 was the weird one. Shin Hati again, staple in yellow deck, just a hidden shielded, it's just great. Power of the Dark Side, staple in blue. Waylay, staple yellow. Tyrannus and Talzin's Assassin again. Both in this deck, same as the Gar Force because of what they do with the Force. The -3 from Talzin's Assassin. Tyrannus becoming a 4/3 shielded with Ambush. Again, great. On a 5 drop, we have Kiadi. I put this in because of the coordinate and you may draw 2 cards. However, never really went off. Looking back at it now, I probably would switch Monday out for something else and try something else. This was from the Monday, and the next card Liberated by Darkness were both from another Talzin list I seen, and I put them in this one and tried them. But yeah, the Monday did really hit too great. Speaking of the next card, Liberated Darkness, use the Force. If you do, take control of a non-leader unit. It's basically Change of Heart, but for 5. Again, not the greatest. There's probably other cards you'd play on 5. Um, but yeah, I don't know, this card's not the greatest. Next, we have Anakin and Cad Bane. Again, 2 staples. Anakin will trigger twice potentially if you've got rid of Bamboozle or used Bamboozle, and Cad Bane just sets up your board. And then the sideboard is just outmaneuver, Avenger, and stuff to get you going. All in all, I think this deck is fun. Will I say it's the same as a Snoke Trooper? Probably not. Snoke Trooper is probably more fun. But if you're looking to play Talzin and you don't want to play the red version because you think it's too competitive, or you just not enjoy it, or the cards are too expensive, try Talzin Yellow. The only expensive card in this deck really is Anakin. The rest of them potentially Cad Bane, but you don't even really have to play Cad Bane. You can swap Anakin and Cad Bane for something else, and you'll be fine. But yeah, all in all, Talzin Yellow Force, great. Me and Rich both enjoy playing this deck, so you should give it a go too, and let us know what you think. Moving on next, we've all seen this deck a million times, but it is just such a fun deck to play. This is the same as Snoke Trooper, but it's all space. We're playing Darth Vader Yellow. The whole point of this deck, spam a bunch of planes out, attack base, make tokens, hit base, victor leader, buff everything, hit base. There's not really much to talk about this deck. The deck didn't really change too much from beginning of the first iteration of it to now. Uh, we have one forward starfighter, and that's it really. The sideboard we have 3 scimitars. that's only due to like Space Sentinels where you can attack in with it, or potentially use Scimitar and Swoop Down and damage the Scimitar to do more damage. But realistically, we've seen this deck many a times. I had to include it in this list though because it is a really fun deck to just spam a bunch of ships. Uh, Quick rundown, I guess, of the deck. We've got Droid Starfighter, First of the TIE Forge, Mining Guild Republic. We've seen this deck list multiple times. It's basically every TIE Fighter, TIE Phantom, key cards of the deck, Sanction the Shuttle, most key card of the deck to capture stuff, especially early game into aggro or anything like that. You can just take their 3 cost or less cards and just eat them up. Victory, the biggest card in this list, probably. Each of the friendly space unit gets +1/+1. Victory, the Sanction Shuttle and Clone Combat Squadron are your like trifecta of cards that will be make or break for your game. If you don't really see any of them, then you're not probably going to do the greatest because they all have their reasons for being there. Again, just mentioning Clone Combat Squadron, this is ideal because you're going to be spamming one drops, you're going to be spamming tokens. This just gets fat basically for every space unit you have. And then also making things fat is Victory, the buffing your space unit. So again, it's that trifecta, it's always going to be good. And then you have his Shuttle ST, Patrol Fighter, and Ophone Barrage. This deck has been seen multiple times, but yeah, like I said, I had to include it. For me, it's like Snoke Trooper, but all in space. We've had people play this deck. Martin was an avid player of this deck. He done really well at tournaments with it. There was a couple of other people that were playing this deck, but yeah, this deck's great. If you haven't tried it for some reason, still, you need to try it. The deck is also super cheap. The only card that is probably maybe expensive is Victor Leader, but apart from that, everything else in this deck is super cheap. This is probably the most budget-friendly deck, and it's very competitive. There is still tournaments now where Vader Pilot is still just doing really well, if not winning tournaments. So yeah, you need to try this list. Final deck on the list is my, as mentioned before, meta pick for having fun. If you're going to PQs or store showdowns, the deck list that I would play to have fun with, especially into this is post 4 star now, is Gar ECL. There was a video on the channel made by Sam. You would have seen it. If not, go check it out. It's on our YouTube channel, Gonk Gang. Sam has broke down a Gar ECL list. Yeah, I just had to include it. I think out of all the meta quote unquote meta decks that are being played right now, if I had to pick one that I thought was fun, I would pick Gar ECL. Just being able to do big damage with upgraded stuff and piloting things, and all in all, basically just going super quick for your opponent and never really feeling like you have a bad trade is one of the most fun things that you can do. Again, the Gar ECL is pretty standard. Owen Lars is there to search for force units, so you can search for your Anakin, your Darth Vader, your more late game. Timely intervention, always in green decks, especially with what's in this deck. You can timely Anakin, timely Vader, you can timely Long Pike potentially, buff himself, kill something. One hot shot. I've noticed in Gar Green that people are putting just one hot shot, maybe 2 hot shot in. This is simply just a game ender. It's a simple resource. You pull it, resource, and then late game, if you need that extra pump, you can just hotshot blaster for the game. Krennic's in this again. Like, the one thing you'll see for all these lists is Krennic's probably in a list. Same with Secretive Sage if it's blue. Krennic's here to trigger your Inferno for your Brute. What else have we got? Pretty sure. Oh, your Shuttle ST too. So it's got triggers again. Just a great turn one. You also technically you can play your Krennic and then Owen Lars on turn one. So you also have a restore unit on turn one. Inferno 4, Onyx Brute and Sage, standard and Gar lists. Probably won't get taken out of Gar lists. Next is General Grievous. Again, big body on 3, so he's a 4/4 on 3. Put Craven Power on him, 6/6, it's great. Stick something else on him, it's great. Knights of Ren, again, big body, 4/4 on 3. You could run 3 Grievous, you could run 2 Grievous, 1 Ren like I have here, or 1 Grievous, 2 Ren, or just 3 Ren. Doesn't really matter, it's there for the bodies, it's there to get OB on, it's there to get Graven Power on. Outer Rim Outlaws, 4/3, again, or 3/3 shielded, but it's a 4/3 with Gar. Great to trade, great turn 3. Power Dark Side standard, Iden to stick in your Inferno 4 and Onyx Brute, make them big, 6/6s. If they can't deal with it, then you're swinging for 6 every time, and the game's going to be over pretty quickly. If they do, it's not a downside because the Onyx Brute and Inferno 4 have a when defeated, so you will be able to get some sort of value out of it, so it's not awful. Lampike, great smuggle card, great on attack in general. He will be a 5/6 if he shields something himself. So again, big damage. Shuttle ST, this is to move all your shields around basically. If you need to stick a shield on something to get that, sometimes games come down to 1 damage. So your Shuttle ST can move a shield to something, give it that Gar upgrade buff, and finish the game. So Shuttle ST is always a key card in Gar Saxon. Takedown, same as Power Dark Side, just in there for reasons that not need explaining. Overwhelming Barrage, again, don't need to explain why it's in there. Craven Power is Overwhelming Barrage plus single target, so if you need to kill one big unit, you can strap your Craven Power to Anakin, to Maul, to General Grievous or something, and get that single target damage off and still be buffed by the upgrade. Anakin, again, self-explanatory, you're doing the -3 on attack. If you ECL him in, you can also do 5 damage to a unit. Great card. There's no heroism in cards in this, so you won't get the double -3/-3, but you will just get -3 on with your villainy. Then obviously the key card in the deck, Darth Vader. The whole reason you play Gar ECL is Gar ECL Vader. You stick a shield on something, you kill something else, 2 for 1, and Vader survives. It's the whole reason that this deck is super good is because of Darth Vader unit right there. And then to finish off the list, we have Maul Green. Maul Green, again, has been in Gar ECL decks for a while. He's also in most green decks. A 7/6 of the Overwhelm, stick the damage on another Underworld unit. So technically, Maul could palm his damage off to Outer Rim Outlaws or something like that. Give it to Long Pike, and Maul's fine. Yeah, the list is pretty standard and pretty fun, to be honest. There's some different cards that probably people don't expect, like Grievous and Knights of Ren probably aren't in standard Gar ECL list, but when I was playing it, I thought it was great with Craven Power, so I think the good cards in there. The sideboard, again, Vader's there to search for your 2 drops. Charlton's in there to be a Sentinel, Legal Authority, and Confiscate. So Legal Authority was another one that was a bit strange. I seen it in a couple of Gar ECL lists and I wasn't quite sure why. But the attached unit, sorry, when played, a attached unit captures an enemy non-leader unit with less power than it. So realistically, if it gets down to it and you have them all on board that's overwhelmed already, palm this damage off to someone else so he's full health and they drop a sentinel and you can't finish the game because you need to hit for 7, you can legal authority and then capture with Maul. It's not ideal, but I'm guessing that's why the card was put in there. Like I said, I tried legal authority when I played this list. I really did not sideboard it in that much. Charlton, Confiscate, and Vader probably went in a lot more than Authority, so I think there is chances for you to potentially move that to something else. All in all, though, Gar ECL will be my fun pick for going to a tournament or playing in a meta event. So yeah, overall, let's just take a quick recap. So obviously we had Jabba creatures to start, we had Snoke troopers, then we had Gar Saxon Force, which was the droid cohort, and on top of things, then we had Talzin yellow, then we had Vader yellow, and then we had Gar Saxon green. So yeah, that's my top 5 picks for fun decks to play, starting from super fun to maybe more competitive. And then my 6th pick is what I would take to a tournament to have fun with. There is other decks probably that other people have fun with. I'm not saying other decks aren't fun, but personally, if I was to go to a tournament, I would take Gar Green. Overall, guys, thank you for watching. Like I said, this is what you need to try. These decks are super fun. If you haven't tried them, go try them. Let me know in the comments what you think. I will be making another video going over the top 5 decks that I want to play in next set. So, for example, just a quick one, probably C3PO and Nalase are going to be on that list because I think there's some fun decks you can do with that. But yeah, all in all, guys, thanks for watching. Let me know if you've tried these decks or will try these decks. And yeah, thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. And yeah,